Hello, my friends. This is Davi speaking once again. I'd like to wish a happy Father's Day to all the fathers on this channel, even if it's a bit late, but better late than never. I hope you had a good time with your dad, if you have that privilege, and if you're a father yourself, right? If you're a son, value your father, my brother. It's not easy. Many walk away, and sadly, many people do that who have fathers like that, totally checked out. But it's also during this time that people forget about the greatest father of all, right? Who is God? God, He gave us everything, gave us life. So, my brothers, let's never forget, right? Our Father. And listen, today you'll see that in this country, even a blessing can turn into a curse, my brother. Do you know Discord? It's a cool platform, especially for those who play games, want to create a room and so on. We were playing Project Zomboid, a game that I really like. We set up a room there where everyone can talk, basically like a chat room. You can do this just with your friends. Sometimes subscribers joined our conversations. That was awesome, right? But even something free like this turns into a curse here in our country, right? Because they want to take social problems and put the blame on social media. Yeah, because you know that the media has been losing its audience. They're desperate and looking for excuses to ban social media. First, check out the article so we can do it like Professor Girafales. Cause, reason, motive, and circumstance. Here it is. Virtual enslavement. Police reveal scheme used to induce a 13-year-old girl to take her own life in Mato Grosso do Sul. So, if you read these articles from the mainstream media, you'll see that they're actually putting the blame on the fact that this girl was induced to take her own life. First of all, my brother, I was 13 once. These people forget that we were all young once. If someone tried to convince me to take my own life, I would tell that person to get lost right away. At 13, at 10, at 11, at any age, I would do that. I was never an idiot. The problem today is that we have a generation of idiots, a generation that fakes things. That's where it starts, right? And there are several points we could analyze, many of them tied to the decline of religion over time. Sometimes the kid didn't want to go. So you go to church with me, go there to learn. Nowadays, taking a child to church is almost a crime, right? That's what I used to nag the guys about a lot, who were always attacking the videos, always attacking. No, Davi, the church is us. I agree, but there's nothing wrong with that. You gather where there are people thinking about God, talking about God, and trying to learn the word. Christ himself said, and it's funny that a lot of people ignore this, where there are 2 or 3, I will be present until the end of time. Christ promised this, that his presence in spirit would always be with us. Where there are 2 or 3 talking about him, it's interesting that he didn't say wherever there are, he said 2 or 3. In other words, making it very clear for anyone who's not an idiot that we always need to be in fellowship, to be here with our brothers, talking about this. God is present when 2 or 3 speak about him. But it started to get trivialized because of the charlatans, like many out there. I won't mention names here, partly to avoid getting sued. But many, right? Usurpers of faith have generalized the whole thing. Nobody is good, so let's badmouth the people who go to church. And this has caused a very toxic effect, which is that parents are now ashamed to take their children, and the children have started to hate it. No, it wasn't ready, yeah, and the parents have lost their authority, unfortunately, right? Decades of Zuksha, decades of Angelica, all that garbage created this weak generation, right, that can't control their kids. So this distancing from God, and at the same time introducing, as you know, with these laws in the name of inclusion or whatever, as you already know, I won't say it. Yeah, teaching demonic doctrines, the spiritual presences, whether you believe it or not, they exist. So this new generation is full of that, right? And then the demon just needs a moment to encourage the person toward eternal damnation. That's a fact, right? I'm going to play Janja, right? That idiot Janja speaking, and then we'll respond here. Let's listen. She, right, who's working there, she has no authority at all. The only thing she does, pardon my language, is spread her legs for the mollusk, and she's been doing that since he was a married man. In other times, she could never have been first lady, just out of common sense, right? Because she was the mollusk's mistress before becoming his wife. She cheated on him. She, in this case, the mollusk's wife, his first wife, who passed away, I think, from so much heartbreak, right? But anyway, let's listen to her speaking here, and then we'll come back to offer a rebuttal. Hang in there because it's heavy.
We had a very dramatic event on social media and especially on one platform. I want to specifically mention its name, the Discord platform. And I will once again reiterate my fight for this platform to be banned in Brazil. Only then can we guarantee the safety of our children and women. What happens in the underbelly of this platform is absurd. I'm not going to go into detail here because I think the case of the 13-year-old girl who ended up committing suicide because of this platform, well, it's not the group that's responsible. The group that promotes this should be criminalized, but the platform is complicit in this. And we urgently need to find legal means so that this platform can be banned from Brazil. It's for the safety of our children, our teenagers, women, because misogyny runs rampant there, hatred against women runs rampant there, and also for our animals. Because the girl who died, she didn't complete the challenge, which was to kill a little animal, and she had to do what she did. I can't accept it in a Brazil where we're working for the well-being of all families, having this kind of situation on social media. So we want housing, we want security, we want full-time schools, but we want a peaceful life where we know what our children are doing on social media. The digital ECA was created for that. President Lula signed the digital ECA into law, and I think that was extremely important. It was extremely important. Today, the platforms have to be held accountable, and this specific platform does not respect the digital ECA, does not respect our children and teenagers. That's why, President, we really need to ban this platform from Brazil. Thank you.
What we need to ban are left-wing governments, right? This leftist ideology, that's what really needs to be banned as soon as possible. Because what she's saying there, my brother, would be like us wanting to ban roads. If we look at the official data here, you'll see that Brazilian roads are some of the most dangerous in the world and at the same time, the most expensive. We pay a fortune, right? Very high taxes called IPVA for road maintenance, and even so, our roads are a real mess. People losing their lives all the time, being taken away. So, by her logic, right, if we take into account this high number of people who lose their lives there, the right thing would be to close the road, right? Like that, closing the roads. We would stop having this high number of people losing their lives. Now, tell me if that makes any sense. How would people come and go without the roads? What she said there, man, is actually part of a power grab. The media has been losing control of the narrative. The media has been losing its audience. That's why you see the candidates now, right? Taking part in podcasts. Have you thought about that? Refusing to debate. Both Lula and Flavio have already said they won't go. Yeah, no one ever imagined that. You see, for example, Dr. Ineas. Dr. Ineas would go to court so he could have the right to go to the debates, so he could, speak. Nowadays, people are giving up that right. Why? Because they have social media. The guy doesn't go to debates, but he goes to podcasts. That's already becoming a strategy. He goes to podcasts that even have a bigger audience than that debate would have. So that's what's happening nowadays. The media, realizing this, is taking all the necessary measures. They used Felka for that. I said from the beginning that guy was being vetted. That guy was doing that on purpose. The video he made was done foolishly, ignoring the whole situation itself, right? It's just like this one. Why does this girl take her own life? There are several factors, as I mentioned here. There's the loss of religion, and there are also factors involving the parents, right? Thinking, no, I give food, I give a home, that's enough. There's also a major cultural issue in the mix that leads to that point, to that outcome. It's like when a guy goes bankrupt. You come and say, man, my business went under, I made a bad deal this week. No, if he tells you he went bankrupt because he made a bad deal this week, he's lying. Actually, it's a series of mistakes that company has been making that lead to the point of going bankrupt. So it's the same thing here. We are indeed straying from God's ways. Today, in the classroom, strange doctrines are being taught. This brings a very heavy spiritual burden. Nowadays, the criminal commits the crime and the justice system just lets it slide, right? So there's also this point about the certainty of impunity in our country. Parents are losing authority at home. That's also a fact. Today, just so you understand better, the number of assaults against teachers in the classroom has never been as high as it is now, my brother. Anyone who knows a teacher, who is a teacher, or has a family member who is a teacher, knows what I'm talking about.
A teacher in an orange shirt is grabbed by the collar. He tries to protect his face while taking several punches to the head. A man in a red shirt and another in a black shirt try to restrain the attacker who knocks the teacher to the ground.
It's chaos. Why? Because nowadays everything gets called oppression. If the teacher raises his voice, it can already be considered oppression against the student. So the teacher was left there intimidated without authority inside the classroom. This has consequences, my brothers. It brings very serious consequences, very serious ones, like these acts of aggression. So in this girl's case, you see the point. The girl joins, a group where there are challenges to even kill small animals. The mother didn't even know. Is it the platform's fault? No. The platform is like a phone, my brother. If you pick up your phone right now and start calling people, asking them to do this, are we going to remove all the phone companies from Brazil too? The cell phone carriers in Brazil? Because it's a fact. People call others, insult people, make threats over the phone. Am I lying or am I telling the truth, family? It's the same thing. But no, Andre, that would be absurd. But when it's a platform, you don't think it's absurd. Because that's what many people don't understand. Let's ban Discord today. Tomorrow we'll ban Instagram. And why not ban WhatsApp too? Because anything can be used for good. You take an ambulance. Let's take an ambulance as an example. The ambulance has its purpose, right? To transport people, sometimes medicine. Okay, so it's used for good. But how many ambulances have we seen out there going the wrong way, running people over? So are we going to ban ambulances too because they've been used like that? Your car, your motorcycle, a knife you have in your hand, you can use it to feed yourself, to prepare food, or you can use it to stab someone. So the blame isn't on the object. It's not the thing itself. It's on the one who handles it. And that doesn't mean we have to ban it. Now, that's always the idea of this crowd, my brother. It's always about banning things. And unfortunately, as you know, there are people whose IQ is way lower than animals, and they'll agree with this. You see that this idiot, she was there, right? Janja, she was there. I think it was at the 30th anniversary of the MST, right? A bunch of bums who live off invading other people's land. Thieves, right? That's what they are. And she's there, being applauded. Now, the funny thing is, my brothers, and that's what doesn't add up, right? One thing seems certain. Even the polls are showing the mollusk in first place, but we don't know who conducts these polls. And these people are so unpopular that even to give a speech or hold a meeting, they bring in their own people. Because if he goes somewhere truly public with people they don't control, he gets booed for the proposals and statements he makes. You can see that they have trouble communicating. And even so, these people are sure they're going to win. The polls show they're ahead. What do you think is happening in this country, my brothers? My brothers, I only know one thing. These guys, Lula, right? This group is going to get reelected. And we are going to suffer serious consequences. If you watched my morning video, if you haven't, man, watch it. Those who watched know what I'm talking about. He prepared a bomb, a real bomb to be set up starting January 1st. It's of every kind you can imagine, from the companies to the individual's tax ID. Things are going to get tough, my brothers. It's the guarantee of re-election. If the end of this clown's administration, just like the whole government, but if from the middle on he's already ramping things up, just imagine when he gets his mandate renewed for 4 more years, he'll appoint 4 ministers. It's checkmate, my brother. I'll tell you one more thing. I won't say hard times are coming. You already know. I'll tell you something new. Anyone who hasn't left by now isn't going to. Listen to what I'm telling you. This group in power making this kind of proposal banned discord. The problem is discord. It's not this culture that's being established. It's not the lack of punishment for criminals. No. The problem is social media. They will ban it. The ECA law is there. Just put it into action. It's not ECA. Brother, whoever hasn't left by now isn't going to leave. You can be sure of that. The video ends here. I appreciate your presence. God bless you. Take care. And we're in this together. I'm out.